So putting it close to the farm does not help. It is, if you want to make it efficient, you want to put it close to the places it's going to be gathering the poop from, because that is going to be accumulating far more quickly and in smaller amounts. Like fertilizing an entire field, they'll just go and grab all of the fertilizer and take it there. But the houses will generate small amounts frequently, so you want to have it reasonably close to where the houses are instead. I think down here makes sense, but what we can do is we can kind of double up on a few things. So the tannery, for much the same reason, is an awful building to have next to your houses because it stinks. So if we pop the tannery there, and the compost yard not far away from it, pop the tannery right there, and the compost yard just beyond. You know, they're two awful smelling industries, so may as well put them together. But we are also going to want the Fletcher building. Now this one is a much gentler industry, so I can have this in a I've got a lot more option on where I place this. But how about... are we gathering any willow yet? Don't think we are. I don't think we're gathering willow yet. We need to get somewhere where we can get willow before I build the basket shop. But a cobbler's shop will be worth it. And the Fletcher. Let's build the cobblers down here, I think. Gonna tuck it in right there. Oh, actually, I'll pop it against that road, sure. And then the Fletcher, I can have the Fletcher right next to it if I really want to. Or I can put the Fletcher over here, because that's going to be closer to the raw resources. I think the Fletcher requires... Yeah, just logs, so it would be better next to the yard there, whereas the cobbler requires leather, and that's going to be stored in here, I believe. I don't believe leather is stored over here. No. So, the Fletcher can go about here, I think. There we are. I'm trying to be much more mindful of the proximity and where I'm placing things now. What industries are going to take from what storages and so on and so forth. Trying to be more mindful of it. This is definitely something that is coming from having played the game a little bit already. Predator sighted. A wolf. Okay, let's have a look at you. Who's our hunter? Lady Sheelab! You go, Lady Sheelab, with your 12 arrows. Okay, let's have a watch. And finish it off with a sword. And then, without even missing a beat, sliced with the sword, spun around using the momentum from the slice whilst pulling out the axe and then just brought it down on the carcass that they knew was behind it. It was basically a ballet. A ballet of murderous precision. That's what just happened there. Well done, Lady Sheelab. This is why chat knows to respect Lady Sheelab. Choreographed murder. That is literally what just happened there, yeah. Not only is Lady Sheelab an accomplished dancer, Lady Sheelab is actually also an accomplished trampolinist. So, given the right situation, Lady Sheelab could pull off some crazy parkour killing blows. Death from above without actually needing to have jumped from a high place. Just kind of bouncing, wall climbing up and then descending on her opponents. True fact. Speed time up again. Boot stocks are a little low. That's fine. We do now have a senior. Want to get some more houses, though, I think. Let's have a look. I'm not seeing too many of the houses with couples in them. I don't even know if that really matters. But most houses do have a vacancy, which means a child could be in them. Let's move you a little bit further up. But I'm going to add some more housing. Let's keep things expanding out where we can. Depends there. Does that come straight out, or can we have a bit of a curve? We can have a bit of a curve. Nice. Apparently. Oh, no, we can't. Oh, that's fine, actually. That does work out in the end. Oh, no, did I place that? I placed that one a little bit too close. We'll move that one back, then. And this one can instead face around that way. There we go. Again, I'm leaving... I'm not going to put roads everywhere, just don't need them. Cobbled streets are important. I think the roads might actually impact the pathing weights, but for the most part, they seem happy enough to just walk off the dirt roads, and it doesn't seem to really impact their speed in any significant way. Right, okay, so we're actually good. The soil and clay mixture here is legitimately quite nice. We're going to go for the first year of just purely weeding. Next year, then, we're going to... We want something... Let's go with pea crops. They're very frost tolerant and can contribute to soil fertility. Peas are best grown in early spring, before diseases are most active. Yeah, okay. Let's go ahead for that. Peas there. Then I want a very different type of crop, a very different species of crop. Something that's relatively heat tolerant. Cabbage is a source of vegetable greens, which, well, peas would be a source of greens, wouldn't they? Peas yield moderate amounts of food in the form of dried beans, which can... Oh, actually... No, so that should be okay. So we could go with cabbages then, which are a -3 on fertility, plus -5. So I'm assuming that that does not mean that a cabbage will ever give positive fertility. I'm assuming this means it can be anything from -3 to -8. But it says plus/minus, so it might mean that on rare occasions it will give a positive. I'm really not sure about that. But fertility dependence is fairly high on this, so I'd rather not with that one. Fertility dependence is even higher there. I want something that's got relatively low fertility dependence. Problem is that this crop is beans, and I don't want two of the same crop, one after the other, because that might cause a blight to affect the whole crop. I could just go with clover. In fact, I could go with beans, clover, and this, but it's not really going to give me much food that way. This one does have a bit of better heat tolerance, the turnips. Turnips are a dependable crop with moderately high yields of root vegetables, which store well. Turnips grow very quickly, are frost tolerant, and do well even in average soil. Turnips tolerate disease better than most crops. We could just grow out turnips for the rest of the year. Or use it as an opportunity to get a little bit more weeding done. That actually might not be a bad idea. Well, given that, if I'm going to do that, then I'm going to have them maintain the get rid of the rocks and the weeds, and then grow the turnips, because the turnips are more frost tolerant than heat tolerant. So I don't want in the mid of summer. I would rather this be at the very end of winter. Or, sorry, the very beginning of winter. I think that would be the better way to put that out there. And because, again, after this, there would be a period of kind of maintenance, so any malady would be gotten rid of. We can then go for a very frost tolerant. I mean, I could go peas again, frankly, but let's go with carrots instead. Carrots provide a moderate yield of root vegetables. They are frost tolerant and store well. Carrots do not require high soil fertility, but do less well in rocky fields. That seems to be okay. This one's got no weed suppression at all, which is a shame. That one has some weed suppression, so we can pop carrots on in this year. Yeah, turnips decrease by 2, clover increases by 5, but it has +5 and then ±5 next to it. Oh, sorry. Yeah, no, I'm reading back up now. I just realized it because I was looking at the other things. It's 10 out of 10, 6 out of 10. It's +5 out of ±5. So it's out of a maximum of from -5 to +5. This gives +5. I now know how to read it. Sorry, and I can see people in chat now writing that. Sorry. I do get that now. Thank you. Thank you very much for that. Yeah, we may as well just get that in there, I think. This first farm can be mostly there to... Well... Yeah, let's get carrots in the beginning of the year, and then we'll leave it fallow for a little bit, so our farmers will go do other things, and then we'll just get a bunch of clover in there. Guess it doesn't really matter, but I like the idea of giving them a little bit of downtime. And then the next year's one, we'll probably go with beans and cabbage, I'm going to say. Or maybe leek. Actually, leeks produce vegetable greens with which only have moderate storage life. Leeks have a long growing period and require good soil, but have a very high food yield and high frost tolerance. And high heat tolerance, frankly. None of the root veg or beans really have much in the way of weed suppression. Flax, however... Well, actually, no, flax doesn't either, but the... are any of the greens particularly good for this? Yeah, so rye and buckwheat are so competitive for resources that they will strangle the weeds out by themselves. So if you're going for a grain field using buckwheat or rye, you probably don't need as much maintenance except to get rid of the rockiness. But we'll see how this goes. This one we might set up at the beginning of the next year. Either way, one of the more cool farming systems in these sorts of games. Can I name fields? No. Can I name buildings? No. Sorry about that. Maybe some special ones? No. No, can't be done. Not even once, never. Now this market is going to head up here, so we are going to want some more homes along this area. So I'm just going to go ahead and build out this road all the way up. And maybe... What the heck happened there? From about here, drag it across, perhaps? Maybe line it up, something like that. No, I don't want that. I want a nice road. Come on. No, doesn't look like we're going to get a nice road. Very sad. Ultra sad. Maybe if I just bring it up here, we'll see where else we can place the road. But I don't mind having our farmers being able to leave their homes, go over to the fields. That actually sounds quite nice. I use a 10-pound buckwheat hull pillow. What? Like legit? Because I've got a 15-kilo glass bead weighted blanket. That's pretty nice. It's like being hugged all night. You can tell I grew up sleeping underneath my dog, can't you? At this point, it's like, yes, this feels right. I've got a weight on top of me, kind of crushing the air out of my lungs. This is happiness. I mean, the whole blanket is 15 kilos. It's not a small blanket. I am not a small individual. Lunara. Synth Eagle. Welcome. Horace. Raffenhawk. I think we've had you in twice, but... Have we? I'm fairly certain we've already... I don't remember now, actually. Mir. You shall be... Moomin Slayer. Moomin Slayer. How dare! What did the Moomins ever do to you? Moomin Papa. Moomin Troll. No! Snufkin will be sad. It's a Moomin who is a Slayer. Oh, right, okay. So, like, Moomin Papa is a Papa. Yeah, right, I get you. Yeah, no, that makes sense. Though, what on earth happened to set them on that dark path? I don't know. The Kilt. Welcome, welcome. There be a baby born. It is true. Oh, actually, will it tell me who their parents are? No, that's a shame. I would have loved that. If that would have told me who their family was, then I could have done some really cool things with the names. I could have done some very cool things with those names. But we've got more houses going up all the time. I don't think it said it in there. Yeah, Twitch is surprisingly bad with accenting characters, considering how much they try to accommodate accessibility and the likes. But yeah, they kind of drop the ball hard on accented characters. All right, let's have a quick gander at our various peeps and see how well they're doing. Lady Sheelab. Lady Sheelab is spending 80% of her time working. Basic needs. Spending 1% of the time tending to basic needs, 14% of the time transferring the spoils of war, 5% of the time fighting things, and no percent of the time idle. Well done. Well done, Lady Sheelab. 300 meats, 6 pelts, and 12 tallow this year alone. Train. Unable to work, apparently. Spends a lot of their time idle, actually. There is not a lot of foraging to be done around here, sadly. You're going to find that, though, with anything like this. There is going to be a decent amount of time spent waiting for nature's bounty to be ready. So they spend 55% of the time working, 14% of the time transferring goods, and 31% of the time idle. It's a thing. We're probably going to see that even worse down here. A lot of their time spent transferring goods. That's interesting. 38% of the time working, 27% transferring goods, and 36% idle. Fishermen will probably spend the vast majority of their time fishing. Yeah. The firewood choppers, most of their time working. Same with the production of planks. The farmers, I'm imagining it's not really going to tell us. on that one. Fertility is down, weed level is down, rockiness is up. That will get better over time. Market. Doesn't really tell us. Okay. You are handling all of the firewood chopping, yeah. That's very true. Right now, we've got a very good time of it, so we don't need to worry about having more. But what I do want to worry about is getting a trading post as quickly as we can. Now, to get up to tier 2, we can already upgrade to tier 2. We need 40 planks, we got it. We need 25 stone. Let's get that upgrade on the way. We need to get a trader. We need to start bringing in some clay. We want to get a school ASAP. But yeah, what I could do if we struggle for manpower, I'll start turning off the foragers once there's nothing left for them to forage. Alternatively, if I really wanted to, I could be much more proactive in moving around their foraging zones. Make sure I get all of the forageables and just move that about. It's all up to you on how much micromanaging you want to do. But you could do it. You could be much more active in that regard if you wanted to be. Let's have a peek up here. I'm fairly certain we know there was no clay, though. Just want to explore out there. Now, one thing I don't know is what lies over on this side. Guess we'll go up over the mountain, too. And they may or may not be wearing pink pajamas when they do it. If you build walls on mountainsides, your village might get stuck on the slopes. Leveling terrain next to trapped villagers should release it. Oh, thank you very much for that backseat pass there, Angela's Fallen. Will this stream be uploaded to YouTube? I don't want to miss anything, and I feel I might fall asleep. This will be going up on Aavak After Hours once the first stream is complete uploading. Because that one has already been encoded, it's already... the file's already uploaded, ready to start going live. In fact, they've already started going live. But it will take a bit of time to get to the point where this one starts going up. But yeah, they will absolutely be going up there. 100%. Let's get you over here. Any more building going on that we need to be here for? Not really, I don't think. Actually, let's pop you over there because we're probably going to build some more houses in here, I should imagine. In the not too distant future. We want to get some more peeps, but that will happen in time. What's an early pitfall that a noob might not realize, Aavak? I'll be starting shortly, asks Belial. What would I say is the trickiest one? Well, I wouldn't say that this is as tricky as Banished in regards to things being hidden from you. Because this game is much more one-to-one with the age, except children grow up a lot faster than you might imagine, but once they're adults and they're able to start contributing to the colony, it seems much more one-to-one with the years that pass. So you don't end up with the kind of aging population death spiral that you have in Banished. That being said, you almost always want to ensure that your houses have room. Not just you've got full houses and then you build something, because I imagine that does affect birth rates, but at the same time, looking at these, I don't think they're picking houses based on like family connections. So it might not be as important. I would say that trading is a huge, huge deal. Early on and all the way through the game. One thing I will say, because it was interesting, Italic's asked me, and I hadn't really thought about it, but like I just kind of assumed, correctly, thankfully, but the traders don't have a different trade price for when they're selling or buying a commodity to you. They're either trading it at a inflated price, or trading it at a normal price, or trading it at below the average price. Whether you can buy or sell is then dictated by other factors, but that trader is trading that commodity either below average, average, or above average price-wise. So buy low, buy when it's showing the down arrow. Even though that usually means that's a negative, for you it's a positive if you're buying it, and sell when it's showing a green arrow, because they're willing to pay above the average. They're trading that commodity, and buying and selling is not tracked independently in that regard. How's the game compared to other colony builders? I feel that this game is probably best summed up as described as Banished meets Anno. Now, whether that's your bag or not, that would be something for you to work out. But I really, really like it. It has all of the good qualities from those games, in my opinion. That being said, I'm starting to think that maybe I do need to consider putting down a defensive area here. Also, I'm going to turn off automatic upgrades because I don't want these houses to drink all my resources too aggressively. I could just build a barracks. Soldiers are trained and housed in the barracks, which also serves as a defensive structure. Soldiers are needed to deal with more heavily armored attackers and siege rams. The lookout tower defends the surrounding area against hostile threats. It must be manned by guards who do extra damage when attacking from the high vantage point. I'm wondering, should we build a barracks or a tower? The monthly cost is more for a barracks. But maybe have a central barracks would be a good move. Quirky Wolf, thank you very much for the 4-month sub there. And Shiroka Jinrai, thank you very much for the 12 months. What's the biggest early danger to the colonists? Probably predators. I would say predators are more dangerous. Like a bear is fantastically dangerous. Raiders won't happen for a while, so I wouldn't necessarily consider them an early game threat. But if you do get attacked by raiders early and you have no real means of defense, ring the town bell, get them inside. This can shoot. They will attack from the safety of the town center. That's also kind of why I put my storages around the town center, because it acts as a free defense structure for my storages. Raiders will target anywhere which stores goods that they want to take. Yeah, this colony was under threat from wolves instantly, pretty much. Also, thank you so much for all of the cheers in chat. Diolch yn fawr iawn. That's incredibly kind of you all. Thank you. Has the maintenance cost of towers been changed? I don't know, honestly, because I seem to recall these being much more expensive. But it might be that the guards themselves are expensive. Like, the tower is a certain amount of cost, and then the guards' wages is what bumps that up even further. That could easily be the case. Right, tannery is up and running. We've got Moomin Slayer and Ravenhawk working the tannery. I probably want to put a well down around here, actually. The Cobblers has been working for a little bit. And that is Synth Eagle. They're taking care of the cobblers. Yeah, I'm going to pop down another well. I could put this well right here. Or right next to the smokehouse, I suppose, since the tannery is going to need the water. Monthly cost down to 8 from 30. It was never 30. I mean, it wasn't 30 when I was playing it, at the very least. Num Thunder, thank you very much for the 37 months. Diolch yn fawr iawn. How's the risk of fire in the game? Oh, that's actually a good point. Yeah, you definitely do want to have some wells dotted around. Also, wells, like, personally, I think having a well at any kind of external area is a wise move. I might even want one down here, but there's only one building and there's a well just up there. They can easily run across there. But have wells near your village because they will want water, and if they work very far away from the well, they'll get dehydrated, which can be kind of a massive pain in the backside, actually. All right. Another thing to understand, you need... Oh, actually, this... While it isn't an early game thing to trip up on, you do need heavy tools, and they will wear out. So don't buy one heavy tool and think, right, that's it. My windmill is now built with that one heavy tool. Good to go. They will run out. That will wear down, and it will need to be replaced. And if you're relying on that windmill, you now don't have it. So have backups wherever possible. Another thing, the arborist building. Once you get to level 2, the trees will produce fruit based on the age of the tree, the maturity of the tree. So a fast-growing tree will get you more fruit, but it'll also die sooner. So do bear that in mind. It's kind of 6 in one and half a dozen on the other with that. You don't want to have, you know, quick maturing and quick dying trees alone, because you'll get less fruit out of the tree that you planted overall. So the you know, less fruit per man hour used to plant the tree, sort of thing. But at the same time, the things like apples, whilst they will give you more fruit overall because they'll live a lot longer, they will take a while to ramp up to production. So the arborist is not a quick fix for things like scurvy. It'll take time. Did we have a consensus, chat, on whether we go for the... Ooh. Enemy sighted. Yeah. A wolf den over there. Alright. Oh, that needs to be... Move that flag then. Let's not have you go there. Ideally, where are you? I want you walking over there, please. Walk away from the wolves. Know that you can pretty much control anyone. So you can fix problems like that, like they're just about to walk into a wolf den. Also, are there things to gather over here? Yeah, there are nuts now to gather over there. So let's move this back over here. Likewise, are you able to gather anything over on this side? No, not really. Well, given that, then I might send you over to gather this for now. That's a hell of a long walk, so chat, don't let me forget that I've done this, but for now, go and gather those nuts and berries over there if you could. Yeah, the wolves would have loved it if my colonists had just wandered over there, yes. Also, I'm a little bit concerned about that, the colonists being... You know, I'm going to get rid of this flag too, because it's right on top of the boar den. Let's not send people wandering over there to play with the boars. They don't like it. But thank you ever so much for that hype train. That was incredibly kind of you, everyone. Diolch yn fawr iawn. Thoughts on temporary shelters? I think they're great if you've got places built further afield. Like work camps, I think, need temporary shelters. On that note, can we build work camps now? Big fan of work camps. No. I need the wagon shop first. Rightio. We'll get that going soon. You can build an apiary, get a little bit of extra food for people. Potter's building, we haven't got any clay, so there's no point. The weaver's building, might want to look at getting a flax field soon. Candle shop, once we have the... well, we need clay for it, unfortunately, so can't really do that one yet. Soap shop, we've got herbs, we've got tallow. This should be built. Charcoal kiln, maybe if we can't find any coal by the time we need it, but right now we're okay. Unfortunately, I mean, I could buy iron bars in order to run the armory, so it's a maybe. Wagon shop we're going to need. The Cooper, likewise, I could maybe buy some iron bars to make the Cooper. But the wagon shop we're going to require, and it isn't immediately obvious, but the wagon shop doesn't just make wagons and then someone will go and use them like they will with wicker baskets. This is a place where 2 wagons can be made. They cost quite a lot of money, and then for each worker that works there, like, it's basically you hire a worker who builds their own wagon and somehow finds ox to pull it. And then they work that wagon shop. You can't control how they spend their time. But it's an important one. Healer's house, way too expensive early on. The school we do want to get. The pub, no point early on if you don't have... beer. The healer's house is crazy expensive, though. I would recommend not trying to build that for a while. I do want a school soon. We are also going to want a trading post. And once again, I'm going to put the trading post near my kind of commerce center. This is kind of industrial, which doesn't pollute. If you wanted to think about this like a typical city building, like City Skylines, here's my residential, here's my commercial and offices, and then here's my industrial. I'm using a buffer of commercial and offices to limit the negative health effects of the pollution from my industrial areas. Perry and Crafts, thank you very much for the 9 months. Happy Twitch baby to you too. So can you kill the wolf then, or better hunt area around it and let it keep producing? I would rather make use of it rather than just wipe it out myself. I'm kind of hopeful later on, because one of the things that it said with the hunter's cabin is this. Upgrading it gives additional item recipes. Now the recipes that this hunter has is carcasses and boar carcasses. I'm not sure if this counts for everything but boar. But I wonder if this is going to give me a specific recipe for wolf carcasses or bear carcasses, in which case they might be significantly more productive than other things. So I don't want to, wipe that out just yet. But yeah, I guess the biggest bit of advice I can give you, Bilal, is a very long, kind of windy answer ultimately, is build one of everything you can as long as it doesn't cost maintenance points, because that seems to unlock a lot of later buildings. A lot of buildings are locked not based on the tier of my town centre, but on the presence of other buildings in my settlement. Also, don't build tight clusters of houses. You will appreciate having the room to place decorations enormously. I'm kind of feeling that I need to wait on my labourers getting a little bit more work done. In fact, I'm going to increase the amount of builders that I'm going to allow. Another thing to understand from what I can tell is that you're not... Builders and labourers are kind of interchangeable. I'm saying how many people can be builders rather than how many people have to be. And I can't tell them how many people should be labourers. It's literally, if they've got no other job, they're a labourer. Labourers are largely responsible for getting out and like doing manual work, like if I say gather trees or gather stone, so on and so forth. So you always want some. Much like in Banished, you always want some free population in order to go and harvest trees or carry things between the houses. So don't set your builders too high, otherwise you might drain your labor pool. But once they don't have jobs, they just go back to being laborers, basically. So, but as I was saying, so we want beehives, and beehives do well around areas where there are flowers. So for example, I could pop it over here, maybe. Right there. Be great. You don't want too many of them close together, otherwise they will impact each other's functionality. But a beehive next to a field is probably not a bad idea at all. At least I assume that it will impact their functionality if they're too close. I might be wrong about that. I apologize if I am. I'll wait to put it on another beehive. They're kind of expensive. Kind of a frivolous thing. We're going to be stockpiling wax for a while when I don't need it. But let's get a trading area. We'll set that one up right in the middle of town. I am kind of tempted to go for the barracks so I can train, because I imagine I can have a lot of soldiers here. Remember that you can control people, so I don't think playing this game like a tower defense is necessarily the best way of playing it. Personally, I think it would be better to have a tighter wall, because the walls are so expensive to build. A tight wall around your central inner city, and then slowly build that wall out in concentric circles, much the same way as many old towns and cities in kind of Europe are built. They were built up around a castle because that was the best place to build your homes, is nearby, somewhere where you could retreat in times of duress. And then you have like workplaces, farms and stuff like that further and further out, and maybe you build a palisade around those and have a stone wall around the central town, eventually becomes a city. Don't try to completely protect with lookout towers, in my opinion. I would say put a couple around at strategic points, but be very willing to say, okay, well, you know, I'm being attacked from the south. Well, then my lookout towers at the north aren't doing anything, so pull the people out of that and move them down to the south so they can help defend. Beehives 4 spaces apart have no impact. The closer together, newer hive is effect. Ah, okay. Thank you very much for that. That's super useful to have that cleared up. But now, though, I'm going to go with an archer. Sorry, a defensive tower instead of the barracks. So I don't think I'll have the money to keep a barracks going. I can also have this somewhat close. Well, I kind of want it close to the storage areas, but also kind of overwatching the fields a little bit.